Hey there, folks. I'm Matt Hansen.
And I'm John Johnson.
And you're listening to
Planes, Trains, and Comic Books.
The podcast where we discuss favorites we've reread, both classic and new comics we want to read, and everything else in between.
And here's the comic we picked this week.
Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of
Planes, Trains, and Comic Books.
Today, we are stepping back into the manga realm. This is one of our poll winner picks.
Patreon poll winners.
Yes. So, if you would like to be voting on any of these episodes, you can go to our Patreon and sign up for one of our tiers. Like we have an introduction tier. I think all of our tiers actually allow you to do the poll. So, and every month we do at least one pick from this poll. Sometimes if there's a tie and we want to read more than one of them, we'll do both. So, this week we're doing Attack on Titan, which I have never read. I saw some of the anime that came out on Netflix. John, what is your experience with this title?
It's very similar. I've never read it. I've seen like images and like clips from the anime. It's very big in meme culture. So my wife and I, do the TikToks and.
Is it? What is?
Yeah. Oh, I was gonna say, Matt. I don't know you.
I don't know what a TikTok.
Hey,
is.
Matt. You kind of smell like a baka. Aaron Yeager.
I don't know. What
I don't know. People out there would be like, haha, that's funny. And that kind of stuff.
I'll take your word for it. I don't know.
But yeah, it's a reference to this. I only know that because I read it now. Okay. I didn't know what it was before.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So this book, I watched some of the anime. I think I watched like the first 2 episodes or something and was like, it's not for me. It's not my thing. I don't care. But then everybody won't shut up about this manga. So I was like, okay, I'm kind of interested. Maybe the manga's better or whatnot. So we'll get into it. But yeah, we read the first volume. I know they have like the big ass volumes of them that I think collect 3 full of the manga tankobons inside of them.
Yeah.
We just read the first actual tankobon. So not the big mammoth size one, not the big Titan size ones. So but so this story is interesting. We'll just give like a little breakdown of what's going on in it. The civilization has been attacked by these things called Titans that came out of nowhere, and no one knows where they came from. And there was like one day where they attacked and then killed a bunch of people, and then everybody in this area, I guess, decided to build a town. Before or like, was that before or after? They built a town to in the middle of nowhere to protect from the Titans, where there's like a high wall. So basically, we're going back to like medieval time castle structures.
Very much so.
Yeah, like this is King's Landing or whatever in Game of Thrones, or Dragonstone or whatever the fuck, and that's like. And there's different layers inside of it. So like the farther you are away from the center, the poorer you are, essentially. So there's definitely, I'm going to say really underlying in this, because they don't go into it that much. Like maybe they do later on, and that's why everybody thinks this is amazing. But like the beginning of it, they mention like, oh, all the kings and shit live in the center. And then all of us live on the edge of this circle. So if the wall is breached, the first wall is breached, then we're fucked. And then we're all supposed to go to the second wall, and hopefully we get through before they shut that gate. And then continuously, I think there's like 4 or 5 walls that they have to get through to get to the center. So now they mentioned at the beginning, the Titans that originally attacked are like no bigger than 50 feet or something, right?
50 meters, 164 feet.
Sorry. No. That's how tall the walls are, right? They're 50 meters? Or?
That's how tall. That's the tallest.
No. But we're talking about the ones except the main Titan. We're talking about there's a Colossal Titan that attacks, and he's 100 meters.
That's right.
But all the other ones are like under 25 meters.
Oh, yes.
So like they build the walls to be 50 meters high or whatever, or something like that. I can't remember exactly the height, but they build the walls to be for those smaller ones. And then all of a sudden one day, and that's where this starts, is there is a Colossal Titan. I think they call him the Colossus or whatever. And so he's over 100 meters tall, and he breaks into the wall.
He can literally look over the top of the wall.
Yeah,
with
and
his
he's
eyes.
like, "Hey, what's up?" And he's always got like weird smoke and shit around him and stuff. So, and I have some interesting theories about this. I think I kind of guessed maybe where it's going. I don't know. You guys will have to tell me at the end if in the comments or whatever if I guessed right. But I have an idea of what's going on here just from reading this first manga, and I actually read the second one too, just to see like maybe it will
Pick up.
get cooler or whatever. Yeah, and yeah, we'll talk about that later too. So so we start off oh wait, I should say the name of the writer of Attack on Titan is Hajime Isayama, and like this is like one of the most, I'm sorry I said anime, manga. I might say anime. I'm aware they're two different things. That's my bad, because it is an anime. It's also a manga. I like both.
It's also I think a movie now too. I think they did a movie.
I mean, but it's an anime.
Yeah, but no, but like a live action.
Oh, they did?
I'm pretty sure, or it's coming. Yeah,
I have no idea. Okay,
not in America. I think, but I think I saw like a that or it was a.
Well,
really
guess
good
what,
one.
John? That's all I care about. What happens in America?
What happens in America?
Right?
Wow.
So yeah. Anyway, that'd be cool. I mean, that'd be an interesting, as long as they got the budget for it, because everything's gonna be CGI, right? So,
yeah, that's one thing I'll say ahead of time. Like this idea in general. Like, okay, I definitely could see, like, this sounds like a cinematic kind of a comic. So, it's interesting to see where it goes.
Yes. So we start off with two kids who are, like, the main kids in this story. They are a dude named Aaron, right?
Aaron Yeager.
Aaron Yeager, and her name, and there's a girl with him that's his friend. I thought it was his sister for a while.
Yeah, Mikasa.
Yeah, Mikasa.
Or Mikasa.
God damn it, John.
I'm
say
sorry.
it right.
Mikasa.
Mikasa. You gotta say it.
I haven't seen the anime.
I'm just joking. I said it like, hey, Mikasa. Hey.
Yeah, Mikasa. That sounds like I'm trying
Mikasa
to do more Spanish. Yeah,
Sukasa.
exactly.
But yeah. Anyway, so Mikasa and Aaron are like the main characters, and we start off with them, and they're saying like, we remember the day that the Colossal Titan attacked, and it does say that it's 2,000 years from now. So that's how far ahead in the future this is. And this is the part where I first got confused. The first fucking page of this book. So there's a lot of confusion you'll find out that I had in this. Maybe not confusion like I don't understand what's going on, but just like I think the storytelling was clunky, and the way that the author wrote this, there's no indication some things are happening. So the first page shows the Colossal Titan attacking. Sorry.
Yes.
And then we cut to some guys who are fighting another Titan in the woods. And we don't know where they're at or what's going on, but it turns out that this is actually happening on a different day before that big Titan attacked.
Yeah.
So they don't say that. There's no indication that this is a different day or anything. We just see like it's the Rangers, we'll say, that go out from the walls of the city bravely, and they're kind of we should say their military is all like, you have to do it. So whatever I don't know if it's volunteer to get into it, right?
Mm-hmm, but then there's different groups. Yeah, like the group that goes out, this is the Survey Corps.
Yes. So the surveyors, you don't get to pick, obviously, just like the regular military in America. You join, and then they'll probably tell you like, yeah, you can be whatever you want. You get to be, a pilot or whatever, whatever top forces you're probably joining to become. Do you want to be a Top Gun? Well, sign in there, Maverick, and then, you end up being the cook on the ship that, those planes land on or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's generally how our military works. So it's the same here, where you join and you're all gung-ho. You think you're going to be, protecting the king or some shit. And then it's like, guess what? You get to be the people who leave the city walls and try to fight these things in the woods.
And probably die.
Mostly die. They're like the special forces, I guess you'd say, of this community or this culture. And so we get to see kind of how they fight. And I guess this is why they put it in here, like to really show like this is how they fight these things. But it only works. It's kind of like Spider-Man. You can't have Spider-Man in Kansas or Nebraska. There are no buildings there to swing on. So the way they attack these things is they have these belts where they shoot like grappling hooks from them, and they grab, and then there's a fan that is pneumatically triggered, and it pulls them forward. So they kind of fly like Spider-Man across high objects like trees or buildings. To which I was like, if this is happening like every day or whatever in your building, like
you have holes everywhere,
damage everywhere, but it's not every day. So yeah, these attacks don't happen very often. So these guys are just training, and they're going out there kind of seeing if I guess training on how to kill them, trying to kill them, and then seeing like how many there are. That's why they're surveying, basically, it says. So we get to see these guys attack one Titan that's not even like gigantic. They're like, it's not even, I don't know, maybe it's like 20 meters or something. I don't know how tall it is. 15 meters.
The big trees are like giant redwoods, and it's like half the size of them. So
I mean, we don't see the tops of the trees. So I mean, it's close enough to the base that you can see them riding, and I'd say it's probably like 8 of them on a horse high. Yeah. So however tall that is, whatever. I don't know. 8 horse heads high. So that's a new measurement. But yeah, so we get to see, like I said, they use these belts, and they shoot them out, and they grapple all across the trees, and then we see them attacking, and then we also get to see them fucking dying and shit. And yeah, like that's the main thing, is like these people don't come home very often. Then we cut back to Aaron. I want to say Evan for some reason. Aaron and Misaka, and I guess Misaka finds him like sleeping under a tree or something, and he's crying already. He's had a dream that like he woke up crying. He doesn't remember what it was, but later on we kind of they show a panel of his face crying, and later on the same panel is used when his mom is being murdered by these Titans. So like by these attacking Titans. So yeah, we can assume like he's getting premonitions of something bad happening, which I would imagine you would just always have. Could you imagine living in a society where you're just like every day, every hour, you're worried about these giant fucking monsters attacking you?
Yeah, but then also go about your day normally.
yes, but also just sell your eggs or whatever, like bake your bread.
Yeah,
have kids or whatever, like. Yeah, so then we get a shot of those guys that were the surveyors that were fighting the Titans. We see them coming back.
Some of them coming back. Definitely not as big a group.
Yeah, they're all wounded. They got like one eye. That's one eye Jim, we call him. And like, yeah, just everybody's fucked up. And so they don't show them getting fucked up in the initial battle. You just see them flying all cool and everything through the trees, and their swords are out, and they're gonna like kill this thing. And then they come back, and there's like 2 guys left. It's like, oh shit. And then also there's an interesting thing. So like I said, there's layers of walls inside of this town, and so on top of the walls there's cannons, and those cannons just by nature are pointing not only where a Titan would be attacking from potentially, but like if it broke through one of the walls, but also it's pointing at the people in the town at all times. So this was like the first indication to me that like, okay, are we doing like a social message? Because they don't show Titans attacking, they just show, and they show this is the outer wall. This is where people are coming back from, the surveyor trip.
Yeah, from the outside.
The soldiers are coming from outside the wall, and the cannons are pointing
in
towards the town. So that's like, okay, so the people are always looking at that as well. Like there's definitely an oppressive nature to this panel. So that's what kind of gave it away, as well as the king. His insignia is like a Caesar. It's got like Caesar's head on it, which is not also ominous.
When your sigil is like you,
yeah,
you're probably not
just
not
you being awesome or whatever. It's So the kids, of course, are coming back to see like the cool surveyors coming, and they look at them and like, holy shit, these people are all beat up. On the way there, the kids run into some like King's guards because there's like 3. I can't remember there's 3 different people.
Yeah, I have them down. There are 3 groups. The garrison, which is the people that basically man the walls. Then you have the survey corps, which are the people that go outside the walls, and then inside is like you said, the King's Guard, but they're technically military police. They do the town's control of the king's subjects.
Yes, so that is like these guys are like, they got it made. These are the garrison, and they're very complacent because apparently there hasn't been an attack for a really long time. They say.
Yeah.
Remember, we cut backwards in time, or cut before. It wasn't. I guess it's technically backwards this time. We started with the attack from the giant Colossal Titan. Then the next page we cut without saying to a couple. I don't know, a year earlier or some shit. I don't know how long it was.
Yeah, definitely earlier because Aaron and they're younger, so
a little bit.
But
I mean, they don't look that much younger, so it seems like. I mean, because this is the day.
Maybe it's saying the day. Maybe it's literally
the
that
same
morning.
Day. Yeah, it could be.
It's early morning. Yeah.
They don't say.
It's not 100. Yeah.
They don't say. So it could be a year, a month, a week, a day. Who knows? But at some point in time, the garrison hasn't had an attack, they say, for 100 years. So they're like, well, we're manning the walls. Why? Like, who gives a shit? Like, no one's attacked. These walls are they're 100 meters tall. So like they're 50 meters taller than any of the Titans are. And so, there's nothing to worry about, basically. And I mean, that's when you say that in a comic or a movie,
something
he didn't knock on wood, so that's kind of his fault, I guess. But yeah, so like this guy's making a point of saying that. And then when we see, like, we even get like an illustration of how tall their walls are compared to these Titans. And like the Titans just look like, maybe 6 under, like there's the walls are 6 Titans tall of this specific one that's coming out to the wall. And it's kind of like zombies where they're like, and then they just kind of like hit, and there's not really a lot of thought. Like they want to attack, but there's not really, we don't know why. And it just seems like we don't see them until later on, like what they do, but they just eat people. That's pretty much, there's no other like thought process for the most part.
Yeah.
So, of course, while Aaron's talking to this guy, the men come back and he's like, oh, let's go see real people, the real soldiers, these surveyors. And then, like I said, they're not in any good shape. They just look like they've seen some shit. Like they're coming back from Nam, like they have PTSD for sure. And then we even get like a mom being like, where's my son? And they're like, oh, like this, they pull out a sack and she's like, what's that? Like a medal for him or something? It's like, no, this is his arm.
This is what's left of him.
This is what's left of him. We were able to save his arm. We're sorry. And so, yeah, it's just super fucked up. And they didn't even do anything. All they did, like, they never get to actually find anything out. That's, like, kind of the issue with the surveyors. They go out, they die. They don't find anything out other than there's still Titans there, and then they come back. So they're surveying, but they're not finding any new information.
They're not doing and that was the one thing I thought was interesting is they're surveyors, right? But like as soon as they saw the Titan, they're like, attack, instead of being like, let's covertly like watch it or something.
Maybe they can't. Maybe the like.
Oh man, maybe that's
because also I think they're trying to train on how to kill them.
That's
right?
true.
So it's like, how are you gonna kill a Titan if you've never fought a Titan at all? You gotta.
True.
Yeah. So like. The people that are just sitting on the walls, they've never fought a Titan in 100 years, so can't imagine they're very good at it. These are going to be like the Rambos of, the Navy SEALs of them. So, yeah, and so we get to see like their family life, like specifically Aaron's family life, where like he's got a dad, he's got a mom. It's all pretty good and happy.
Yeah, don't you forget for a minute that there's giant 50 or 100 some feet monsters outside the wall that want to come in, but they really they have a hard time getting in. Forget about that for a minute and just remember and enjoy normal family life. Where, like you said, we have eggs, we got bread.
Yeah, surely nothing bad will happen to our lovely family in the first chapter of this.
Yes,
and so we also get to see Misaka had heard Aaron say, he told her, I want to be one of these surveyors after they saw him. He's like, they're badass, And, like I said, they're the Rambos. They're the action stars of these people. And also the kids are seeing, like, there's these assholes sitting on the wall not doing anything, and at least these guys are getting shit done. Even though that's being killed for the most part, it's still, like, they're doing something. So
they're trying.
Yeah, and they, the kids don't see the, like, the disillusioned look in their eye or whatever, they just see, like, wow, they fought them and they came back. Like, how cool is that? So it's kind of like, just kids don't pick up on shit like that. So, and of course, Misaka, when she's told that, she doesn't want him to do that because that's fucking stupid and she knows it. And so she tells the parents, yeah, he said he wants to be a surveyor. And they're like, what the hell? And the dad is just like stone-faced, like, And the mom is like, you can't. Like, you will not become one of them because it's a death wish, basically. And the dad's like, he basically says, like, I don't think I can tell this boy what to do anymore. Like she's like, he doesn't give like a straight answer. He just said, what does he say? He says like, he says, I'll show you I've been keeping the secret. He just changes the subject. He's like, I've been keeping the secret for a really long time. And now you're old enough. I will show you what's in the basement.
Well, when I come back from work.
Yeah, when I come back from work. Surely nothing will happen in the time between work and this.
Yes.
So it was just a really weird cut, I thought, of like, you thought the dad was going to be like, now son. Or maybe like, hun, I don't know. We could tell him he's a man now. Or now son, that, you should think about your choices. It was just like, you're old enough now. There's a thing in the basement I want to tell you about, but not right now, later. And then, of course, we hear the like alarm go off, and we also meet another kid like in the meantime. What's his name? He's like their friend. Armin, that's his name. He comes in way more in like forward in volume 2.
Gotcha.
So that's the only reason I mentioned it, because I think I said I was so like left hanging on this volume that I was just like, I need to see if it gets like way better, or like why do people love this manga / books or / anime so much, and I still don't know. But I read volume 2 just to like see. It does get a little bit cooler, more action heavy, but it doesn't really explain anything extra. I don't feel like that I thought was going to kind of come into play, and maybe that happens later on. Berserk is the same way.
That happens in the third one, Matt.
Oh yeah, of course. Well, a lot of mangas are like that, where like based on the first one, I probably wouldn't read more, but then like everybody loves it, so you give it like, you just keep reading, and eventually you're like, I love these characters. They're so deep now, and there's all this cool story shit. Same thing happened with me with Berserk. Everybody wouldn't stop talking about it, and even my brother read it. I'm like, well, if my brother's reading it, probably is solid. And because I'm a little brother, so anything your bigger brother reads is probably,
even as adult, he's like, he's such a cool.
It's so cool. Yeah. So, and he had the like deluxe versions of Berserk, so I bought the first deluxe version. And a lot of these, the way that you should read them is those bigger versions, because they're fatter and there's more story, and you feel like, well, I can't just leave it hanging in the middle. I'm going to finish it to the end, and then by that time, if it hasn't hooked you, it's not for you. Whereas this one, we read the first Tankobon, which is like the first 200 pages, and of those giant Titan books or whatever, the Colossal Attack on Titan books, and like those. I'm sure if you read through all 3 of them, maybe you would be more hooked. But like I gave it a shot. I read through 2, so that's what I was like. Why is this kid even like? Why are they focusing so much on any of these children except Eren and Misaka? And then it's like, oh, okay, Armin's in it way more, and we get like, okay, there's a lot more that happens in that one. But so anyway, back to the kids. Like on the way of leaving the house, Misaka and Eren run into Armin, who's getting beat up by kids, and so you find out like, the bullies that are beating him up, they're like Eren's like, stop it or I'm gonna kick your butt, and then they're like, ha, what are you gonna do? And then they see Misaka behind him, and they're like, her, and so they get scared of Misaka. So you find out like the pecking order of, okay, Misaka is the badass fighter. Eren has a lot of heart, but maybe not all the skill, And Armin is like, he's literally the heart with 0 skill. Like, like he's literally heart. Who's the kid from Captain Planet that yells heart?
Mati.
Yeah, sure. He's that kid.
Yeah.
He has no skills whatsoever, except he's
got the heart ring, and that's the most important Captain Planet ring.
Sure. Is it?
Yeah, without the heart, he turns everybody into trees.
So that would be badass. Like, Captain Planet goes evil when the heart ring gets lost or crushed or some shit. That'd be badass.
That was why. That's why one of my favorite episodes was of Rick and Morty was this last season with Planetina, because she goes like crazy to save the planet.
True. I don't pay attention to Rick and Morty as much anymore. So.
Well, you're missing out, sir.
I watched it. I don't know. None of them stick with me anymore.
I love this last season, but anyway,
John loves everything. So anyway,
So back to this, they're talking, and then all of a sudden, boom.
Yeah, we get the first attack bell in 100 years.
Yes.
There is something attacking, and it's like shaking the entire town. And
they're like, is it an earthquake too?
This is the first ring of the city, so like it's the one most exposed to a first attack. And they're like, what the hell? And then they look up at the wall, and they see all this smoke coming out. And you're like, oh, is that like just rubble dust or something? But no, it's not. There's a Titan that is coming out of the smoke, and he is taller than the wall. And he just looks over, and I liked the design of the Titan. They always look like they're smiling evilly.
Yeah.
Because all you can see is, so they're skinless monsters that have all their musculature kind of out. And so, like, their faces don't have mouths. They have just their jaw, like, you can just see their teeth and then the musculature of their jaw and everything. And so the way that they look, they're always in, like, an evil Joker smile. Kind of. So... At least this one is. Some of them might have different looks.
Some of them are a little creepier, but for the most part, they seem to.
This one looks like he's enjoying. He's like, hell yeah, I'm gonna get into this fucking wall. Look at those. Look at those ants right there. Look at those people. I'm gonna eat them.
I'm gonna eat them.
Yeah, it's like a bear attacking like a honey bee hive or something.
Yeah.
Or an anteater attacking like an ant hill. It's like, I'm gonna get you. So. This Titan, you know, also like their anatomy is different than like a human's. They look like a human, kind of, for the most part. They're definitely humanoid. They walk on 2 feet. They have arms and like a torso and legs and stuff and a head. But their legs, this one's legs are just like tree trunks, and there's little toes sticking out at the end of it and stuff. So they have a lot of mass where they need to, like, you know, kick in a wall or something. So that's what this one does. It begins to kick in the door, the gates, like where the Emperor's face is, which by doing that will let the smaller Titans in. So it does that. It kicks in, and then we get to see those garrison wall people, like the wall soldiers. Like now they actually have to do something, and so like I can only imagine. It's like, oh shit, like we have not really trained except like marching maybe, or like little basic drills. But we haven't fought a real Titan in over 100 years, and now we're having to do this. And so they're in formation, and we get to see like them getting ready, and then we see the big Colossal Titan kick like the entire door out in the hole, like just creating a giant hole. Like he already created like the gate hole, but then he even keeps kicking, destroys the wall even further. And then does he like? I was kind of weird, like didn't understand this. He doesn't do anything other than do that.
Yeah,
he doesn't get through the wall. Maybe
it didn't. No, it seemed like maybe they're gonna bring. Maybe he's gonna have the little ones bring him food. I don't know.
So, and this kind of leads into my theory about what this is, because I don't know if it's in. We'll get to the like later on, but I feel like this is a government conspiracy.
Oh.
Like the king and all the people in the center like to live high on the hog, and they keep that because they manufactured these Titans. Maybe the first Titan was real or something, or maybe even the littler ones or something. But they found out, we can keep, them in control by having these walls set up. They keep us. We protect them. We use that, and then. But it's been 100 years since we have a real attack. Everybody's kind of slacking on it. Maybe people are getting unrestful. And then, this giant Titan comes. And we see later on, it always has, I don't know if I think this is in the second book. It has like smoke that comes out of it, and it appears and disappears at like seemingly will. So is it like an illusion? Is it some weird thing that
I didn't think, with the smoke, I didn't think about that. Why? I'm sure I didn't know why
it's
it was.
the only one that has smoke.
Yeah.
At first, it kind of makes it seem like maybe it's dust from the kicking of the wall.
Yeah.
But in the second volume, I think they show like Aaron's about to attack it, and it disappears. And he's like, "What the fuck? Like what?" And so I'm like, is this like a hologram? And it's kind of like Mysterio in Spider-Man 2 movie or whatever, where he's fighting all this shit and it's just like an illusion or whatever. And then there's like a battering ram or some shit that's knocking holes in the wall, or demolition that's happening or something.
Oh man, I didn't even think about that. I thought maybe not that it wasn't smoke, like it was like steam.
Well, I was also looking at this. Yeah, I thought that too. Maybe at first, like when I first read this, but then because I picked up on the guns are being pointed backwards towards the city, they also talk about like when the soldiers are talking to Aaron. When the garrison soldiers were like, that hasn't been attacked in 100 years. Like, this is crazy. I don't want to be one of those surveyors. They're saying like, oh, it would be great to be one of those Kingsguard. They just get to sit fat in the hot, fat in the hog or high on the hog, eating whatever they want. They just chill. And they're like 5 rings in, so they don't really have to worry about anything. And you get to live in that 5th ring. So you're like extra taken care of. So like, that's the appointment everybody wants, of course. And so just that concept of there are 5 rings, one is way better than the most outward ring, and there's definitely like a class system set up that is there for a reason, kind of thing. And like the powerful want to keep that power. So and there hasn't been a real Titan attack in 100 years. So I was looking for that, a little bit more in this first volume and even the second volume, and they don't go into that at all. That's just me. They're hinting at it, it seems, but I tell me in the comments or whatever if this is what
if it's man on the right track.
Am I on the right track at all? Because I'm like, that's an interesting story more so than just attack. Titans.
Yeah, just creatures is cool, but having like an extra thing behind it is definitely makes it more compelling.
Yes. So that big Titan attacks, it kicks in the wall. The smaller Titans begin to come in. And everybody's, freaking out. Of course, the last kick that the big Titan did kicked a big chunk of stone from the wall, and it landed really close to the area, like just from what Aaron can see, that his house is in. So he's like, hopefully it didn't land by my house. And I thought this was funny because they round a corner, and I'm probably a horrible person for thinking this. They round a corner, and it's literally like it has only hit his house. It's like his house is, every other house is fine. But there's just a giant chunk of rock has completely smashed his house. And so I thought like the big Titan was going to come in and then it's going to, because that's the other thing. It could continuously break through each wall and it doesn't. It only breaks through this first one, lets the little ones go in. There was no reason for it to stop other than.
That's true. Yeah. Why didn't it keep, I didn't even think of that.
Yep. So I think I'm on the right path here with the way it is, or with the government, the state being terrible.
You've always got to, you know what it is because you've always got that government conspiracy. Like the government's always up to something. And I'm just like, yeah, government, it's fine.
Really? You think the government's fine?
I'm kidding.
Wow. All right.
I trust my.
You make me sound crazy.
I trust my government. Mr. Conspiracy Theory over here. I'm kidding.
They've never done anything wrong.
Never done anything wrong. Especially not in the last couple of years. Let me tell you.
Or in their entire existence.
Yes. But I'm just saying, if we need to look at recent history, the last couple of years, there's definitely been nothing weird or crazy.
At all. Nothing at all. All I'm saying is look into Tower 7, people. No. They're turning the frogs gay.
They're turning the frogs gay.
I am not that crazy. Anyway. Anyway, so like I said, this rocket just only landed on his house. And I literally laughed out loud when I saw this panel. It's just so like.
I mean, it is. There's little bits of debris here and there, but like,
there's like a slight
only
hole
his house
in one of the other
crushed.
buildings. Yeah, like his house is just completely demolished. And of course, his mom is stuck under there. His dad was at work, if you remember. So his mom, or his dad was out. I don't know if he was at work, but he was out. Because he said, I'll tell you what's in the basement
when I come back.
So also I'm thinking, well, the basement's probably demolished now too. But the mom is stuck under some boards. No one can get her out. And the kids are like, no, we have to do it. Like there's literally like a beam of wood on top of her that's just like a 12 by 12 beam of wood.
It's a porch structure.
It's basically a tree. They're trying to lift a tree. And it's not going to come off from 2 little kids. And they're trying, though. And then they see all these, smaller Titans that are taller than the building, so they're big enough, right? And they're like, oh shit, the Titans are here, they're attacking. And Aaron, in his like, I guess, strength of adrenaline, is able to lift one side of it at least, like a kind of like he's got some leverage maybe. And he's kind of, they're getting the mom out. She can't walk, like her back is broken. And then they look over and she's like, she's saying like, just leave. Like, I'm done for. I can't walk. You can't drag me. We're all going to die if you drag me. Then we see, like, a Titan coming, and he's got, like, a sinister, hey, I'm going to get you. Or whatever, like, he's going after him. And he sees the mom there, and he's just going to eat that mom. But luckily, out of nowhere, there was the guy from the garrison that was talking to him earlier that he was harassing for being part of the garrison and not like a cool surveyor guy. He shows up and he's like, his name is Mr. Haynes?
Mr. Haynes, yeah.
Mr. Haynes?
Mr. Haynes, yeah.
Wait till we get our hands on you. Anyway. And so Haynes is like, I will, save you or whatever. And so he comes out and he looks at the mom and the mom is just like, don't save me. Please save the kids. So he does that. He makes the hard call and he decides to save the kids and leave the mom there. And he pulls the kids away and they can't really fight him. And the kids are, able to turn around just to see the mom, her back's broken, which I thought was a pretty crazy looking panel where he pulls her out of the rubble and her legs are in his hand, but her back is broken. So it's just folded. She's just kind of folded
like
over. Yeah, flopped over. And he opens his mouth and he's got like an extra, like a snake or like a lizard jaw where it just pops open extra wide.
Yeah.
And then he chomps her down and Aaron sees that and he's like, oh, mom. And he tries to fight, Mr. Haynes, because he's like, you killed my mom. We were going to save her. And, he's just like, look, I wasn't brave enough, kid. Like that, I couldn't do both things and try to like save us and myself. I'm scared too or whatever.
Yeah.
And
so that's why I saved you. Yeah. I'm sorry.
He's like, I wasn't strong enough. And Aaron's saying, I wasn't strong enough to lift it. You were. You should have done it. And he's like, I wasn't strong enough to stay, to stick around and fight this Titan. So, then we see like, oh, there's like an evacuation plan where everybody kind of evacuates to but then the second wall. There's like a moat, I guess, they have to cross. So, or at least that's what they're all getting on a boat. Like. I don't know why they get on a boat unless there's a moat. So, yeah, that's kind of the main thing. And then there's also like different kinds of Titans, it seems. Like there's one that's like a battering ram, like a charging Titan, and he bursts through the wall even more. But like I said, the big one ain't there. So like all these other ones are bursting through the wall, but big one just magically vanishes. So the second boat is leaving, and it's kind of like the Titanic, where there ain't enough boats at once, at least, to evacuate everybody. So there's just people like in a giant crowd waiting for this boat, and they're freaking out, and they're seeing people die and everything. So it's just pretty.
Yeah, I can't imagine like standing there on this little dock thing and then like looking back and seeing the Titans like eat other people, and you're like, all right.
Yes. So then we jump to the future, and we see like where the kids are now, but we also get to see where like the city walls are now. So now it shows the human territory. Okay, so there's I guess 3 areas. That there's the center, then there's the mid center, then there's the outer wall, right? Or the outer area that's surrounded by the outer wall. So the first wall has been breached, so that outer center, the outer city area is fallen to the Titans. But now the humans are all crammed into that second inner wall. And there's little outjuts where each road is, I guess, where they show like the people.
It's like they kind of made it seem like it's a faux town, like it's crowded area
But it definitely sounds like this is where the poorest of the poor and the most fucked people go.
Yeah, like it's basically like a way to maybe they'll coax some Titans there and kill them, and it'll only be a small amount of people, the ones that we don't really care about that much.
Yeah.
In this area that die.
Yes.
That's what it seemed like.
Yeah, and that of course is where like Aaron lives.
Yeah.
And so we get to see Aaron and Misaka now. They're grown up and they're training with their brethren, or the kids that were during that first attack. I'd say maybe it was like 15 years later or something.
Yeah, like 10, 15 years. They're definitely
they're 25, we'll say, or maybe 20. Yeah, I guess they're like 20 or 18 to 20.
18, 20, yeah.
So, because they all seem pretty young, but like some of them are more mature than others, and it's pretty obvious which ones are what. But
this is where they introduce a fuck ton of characters.
This is where I was just like, I'm not going to remember any of these because obviously these are all supposed to be there to die.
Fodder,
yeah, these are going to fight and they're going to die. So they give them like kind of basic like intros where they just say like, I'm number 8, Connor Spring. It's like the guy doing roll call, and we get to learn each one, and then you can kind of tell by their look of like, how badass they are,
or how scared, or maybe how
whatever their personality is. There's cocky guy. There's sure girl. There's like cocksure girl. There's
the main thing they make to mention is Mikasa is the top of the like.
Yeah, her and Aaron are the two tops.
Well, no, Aaron's number 5. There are a couple people ahead.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
He's not, again, it's the same thing. He's not quite all of the skill, but he's got the heart.
Right.
And
Armin is here too.
Yes.
And he is not.
He didn't make the top 10 though.
He didn't make the top 10, but he did pass because somehow he was able to make it through the tree course or whatever.
Yeah.
That's also the thing. I'm like, where do they train? Do they actually take him out into the woods, or there's like an area where there's trees that they've grown?
I don't know.
Because they just show him training in trees and doing a test, but like
maybe they have a faux woods too.
Do they just send like your last day of training? Is they just send you into real battle against the Titan?
Good luck.
Yeah, and if you come back. So well, we do see like Aaron is very determined faced when we see him again, and Misaka just looks like blank, like she doesn't give a fuck.
She looks like glazed over almost all of the time.
Bored. She looks bored. Like this is yawn work. She can do this in her sleep. That's how boring it is. She's just that badass kind of thing. So, but Aaron looks determined, and then we get like a big text breakdown of those little towns that are the outjuts that are kind of surrounding the gates and the road, where like the least desirable people live, we'll say. And we get like a breakdown of why are they there? Yeah. And like you said, it's just to kind of draw.
They're the bait towns.
Yes, they're the bait towns, and it is a volunteer town, we'll say. But there's definitely propaganda pushing. If you live here, you are like most revered by the king, and there's a lot of like Top Gun propaganda. It's like, it's like, oh, these are like the badass people, the people that are the real.
They're the bravest.
They're the bravest of all the people. Unlike those inner city folk, it's what they always do. It's like what the state always does to people they want to, lionize because they're the fodder. They're the gutter people that they don't like. So it's kind of like when you get army recruits at like the poorest school in town or some shit. It's like, well, yeah, they're trying. They're like, we'll give you school.
Yeah, they're like, do you want to get out of this bumfuck town?
Yeah, and
let me tell you,
you can get out of this area and you'll get an education and you'll be honored. You'll be one of America's bravest or whatever. And then cut to
not taking care of them later. Again, we're not saying anything against the military and the people that.
No, I'm talking about the state.
I'm talking about the way that they bring people in and the way that they treat them afterwards.
Yes.
Like they don't fucking care about them. So, sorry, I got.
And that's John's political.
I got really passionate. Hey, I'm just saying they only just finally got that.
No, I started it. It's
the
my
burn
fault.
pit thing passed. So
sure.
Anyway,
I'm sure that's gonna change a lot for those people. Anyway.
No, but maybe it's a tiny.
Anyway, let's stop talking about.
Let's get on topic.
Let's stop talking about. Anyway, so we get to find out that also the different corpses or the cores. I said corpses. Cores of the three military groups you could be part of. There's the garrison, which maintains the walls. There's the survey corps, which goes outside and tries to fight down the Titans on their own, and then on their own land or whatever. And then the military police, which controls the king's areas and maintains order.
Yes, I mentioned these.
I know. I'm just saying this is how they break it down. And then we get to see like, oh, everybody wants to be, of course, the military police. So.
Smell like a baka.
Yes.
I can say it.
I still don't know what that means. What is a...
I guess it's like you smell like a noob is basically what it means. Like...
Oh, okay.
Like you're not ready for things.
I still don't get it. Anyway, anyway, like everybody's, of course. So if you're in the top 10, you get to choose which one of these you go into. So that's the push is for everybody to try to get into the top 10 because they don't want to be just handed out their assignments because we all know they're all probably going to get surveyor or garrison. No one's getting into the King's Guard or whatever. Yeah. So to be in the top 10 is important. Like we said, Aaron is number 5, Misaka's number 6, and then there's a bunch of people around. Or I'm sorry, number one, and then all the other people are around them. So everybody's like, oh yeah, I'm totally going to choose the military, the King's military police, and it's going to be awesome. And we get to like see them at lunch. We get to meet their personalities, and all of this is just set up for they're all going to die when there's a big attack, of course. And so, and we also get to see like Aaron, like you said, he's all heart and some skill. Misaka's all skill and no heart. I mean, she's just there. We find out to protect Aaron, basically. Like she only joined because Aaron was like, I will join.
Yeah, and he still wants to join the
and he's still like, I'm going to choose the surveyors. And everybody's like, what? Why would you be in the top 10 if you wanted to be in the like? You could have saved that spot for someone else. You could have just done badly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, why did you do that? And so, and he might have been assigned garrison. I guess it was the only way for him to for sure get to be a surveyor.
Yeah.
So I guess that's why he did it. But so yeah, we've that's what we're finding out is like all the different personalities of these people, these different kids, and like the rivalries and all that between them. And we get to see like Aaron have a fight, but then Misaka stops it and just picks him up like a little baby, and no one can do anything about it. And even the like number 2 guy was like, oh shit, if I fight Aaron, Misaka's gonna fight me. And it's like, nah, she's just gonna take Aaron away like a little baby and like throw him over her shoulder.
I did like that. She just picks him up and is like, this is dumb.
Yeah.
And she even tells him like you're kind of an idiot that you're still gonna choose that. And she's like, and you realize if you choose that, I am going to choose that as well.
Yeah, you're killing me as well. Probably. I mean, that's the odds are I'm going to die as well.
Yeah.
So we get to see. Oh, also we see that Mr. Haynes, the guy that saved them and left their mom to die, he is like their leader. He's like the battalion commander or whatever of this section. So he's training them, and it seems like Aaron doesn't really hold a grudge maybe now as much. I don't know. Like there didn't seem to be like very much hatred between them. It just seemed like it's like, oh, we know each other.
Yeah.
And you're like my commanding officer, so I can't really, I'm not going to say anything to you, but it didn't seem like there was like hatred between them, which you would think he might harbor that grudge, And then, okay, this is a weird.
Yeah.
There was a weird thing that happened. You tell it, John.
Yeah, no, so this was weird. So then, yeah, it's like, hey, like, I'm sorry, about your family, hopefully.
Mr. Haynes is saying
Mr. Haynes, yeah. He's like, I'm sorry about your family.
It's weird. He's like, I know we haven't talked this entire training session, but now that it's over, I just want to let you know I'm sorry about your family.
Yeah, and apparently Aaron's dad was a doctor, and there was some, on top of the Titan thing, there was also some really bad disease that killed a bunch of people too. And the doctor, he was working, Aaron's dad was working on like an antidote for it. And I guess that's something that he maybe was trying on Aaron, like he was.
Yeah, and this was after his mom died, so Aaron's dad did not die that day.
Yeah,
because he was at work, and so yeah, there's like a weird scene of his dad like about to give him an injection, and Aaron's like, "No, Dad, stop!" And he's just like, "Aaron," and Aaron's like, "You've been acting crazy ever since Mom died." And then it's just like he doesn't. It was like his memory was blacked out until Mr. Haynes was like, sorry about what happened. Do you even remember that day with your mom? And then it's brought back this flood of other memories.
So it was, I couldn't tell if it was like, he's just like literally he was like so distraught from his mom dying, or if like his dad was like testing on him or something.
Right.
It was very weird.
And then, there's also the idea, if you're thinking about it like from a government thing, like, did the government make this disease?
Yeah. Everybody's in one place. We're going to have to.
I mean, are they going to have a pharmaceutical company subsidize all these vaccines for people? Is that what?
Hey, now.
What? I'm talking about Attack on Titan, the government.
Yeah.
What's going on? Who knows? Anyway. Okay, anyway.
Well, nothing has happened for 5 years now.
Yeah, it's been 5 years.
5 years
since that attack with the. Well, no, okay, I guess it's been. Okay. Then they looked younger because they say 5 years.
That's true. They say 5 years.
We thought it was 10, maybe 15.
Okay, well then I guess they were older teens. Maybe they were like.
It's hard because they draw kids young.
They were like 10, 13 probably. So like 13, 15, and now they're in their late teens.
Because they seem like in that first sequence they look like they were way young.
Yeah,
they look way young. I think it's just maybe the style of drawing, and they don't give them. It's not like it's going to be my 10th birthday this week or something. So you get like a. Like you're just guessing basically like how old they are based from the drawing. So it's kind of hard. But so I guess it was 5 years ago that first attack happened where his mom died. So 5 years later, they are now graduating. They are now getting to pick, what their assignment is, and like we said, I don't even know if they pick yet. Do they get to pick? They're just kind of talking about what they're going
to do, yeah.
And they're talking while they're on top of the wall, like looking out. And I thought this part was fucking hilarious.
It's I mean, literally, because they're like, oh man, it was sucked that we lost like a third of our territory, 20% of our population. But you know what? The human race is coming back. We got this.
I got a good feeling about us being in the military and us protecting these people. And then literally the next page is just the Colossal Titan standing 25 feet away from where they're at, on maybe even close to 10 feet away from them. Like, they're looking face to his jaw. He somehow snuck up on them. It made me laugh out loud. I was just like, they're just like, nothing could beat us now. And then they like, what's that? What was that wind? And then they slightly move, and it's just right there next to them. So, yeah, the Colossal Titan appears out of nowhere. And this was the other indication, like, it appeared out of nowhere. How is that possible?
That makes me think of that scene from Jurassic Park 3 with the Spinosaurus. They come together like, how did you know it was there? And he's just like standing over in the corner because of the cell phone sound or whatever.
Yes. So yeah, that it was like, this was like, okay, this only pays off if it is the political thing I'm talking about. Where like, either this thing is supernatural, or it's man-made and appears when they need it to. It's like a hologram or whatever. Or it's a Titan and this is a badly written story. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's why I have reservations where I'm like, I wish they would just get into that political side of it more, because then I would know, oh, that's what they're going. And it's all explained now. And I don't have to, I'm not looking at this straightforward like Chainsaw Man was or something. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
I'm not looking at it like these Titans are attacking. Wow, they look great. This is crazy. This is super violent. And like it's just the surface level. Whereas this, if it gets into that next level, then it's like, oh, like this is way more interesting. There's like a weird political aspect to it, and you know, that kind of thing. So that,
well, if there's a political aspect, you know, there's gonna be like one extra level of like it's aliens too.
Yes, of course. But yeah, it turns out they're reptiles, and, just like our government.
Yeah. The mole people have finally come.
Yes, exactly. So they've shared their Colossal Titan tech with them. That's what they did. So we get to see like the Colossus Titan as he was sitting there, like when they turn, and then he does a blast of like smoke or whatever, steam, and it blows all the new recruits off, including Aaron and Misaka and everybody. And so we get to see them in action with their harnesses. They pull out their grappling hook thingies, and they all like, they say go vertical whenever they're about to like use them, which I think is funny. Just every time you're go vertical. I just imagine just like
some like
Power Rangers. Just the Power Ranger thing. It's like it's morphin' time. Like that's what it is. So their belts physically turn in order to be like able to point upwards so that the grappling hooks can shoot out. And so it is like morphin' time for their belt.
Hell yeah.
Exactly. So we get to see them, they all are falling. They all save themselves except one of them. And then the Colossal Titan begins to kick this wall. So this is the secondary wall, like the second city wall, right? Like,
this is
the first city has fallen 5 years ago. This is the secondary wall being kicked in again. And Aaron's getting flashbacks of his mom being eaten, and he's like, I'm going to fucking kill every last one of them. He gets all crazy-eyed. He gets the crazy eyes, and then he just shoots up, and he's like, I'm going to fucking kill this thing. He pulls out his swords, and he decides to take the first Titan, or the Colossal Titan, on himself. And this is where we get a weird... I mean, they already showed us what it does, like their harness, right? We see it. And we don't really need this breakdown, but they give us a page of breakdown, currently available information about the harness. And it's just like it's like pictures and words about like a generic mannequin human and how the belt works.
It seems like this could have been stuff at like the end of the comic.
But I mean, we get it, don't we? We just saw them go vertical. We saw the other people fighting from the trees. Do we need to know it's like a pneumatic fan? They really go into detail about the fan and how it works. I'm like, if this doesn't make any sense, like the only way it would pay off is, once again, is if that's how the Titans work, and that's why they have air blasting out, how the Colossus blows air out of himself, is there's pneumatic
They
fans.
too use these pneumatic fans.
Yes, exactly. Or maybe there's little vertical people inside, or there's people inside pulling cords or whatever. I don't fucking know. But yeah, like they spend so much time explaining this harness that doesn't need to be explained because they already showed it twice how it works. And then they also go into like detail from I think Mr. Haynes or Sergeant Haynes or whatever the fuck his name is now. He whatever his rank is, he does an explanation of what the harnesses do to them.
Yeah.
So it's like, all right, we get 3 different kinds of explanations, and then on top of this one, so we don't need this extra breakdown. But yeah, we see Aaron goes after the Titan. The Titan sees him immediately and swings at him, and Aaron is able to actually like grapple, shoot the hook into his arm, and he grapples him. And then we find out kind of the weakness against the Titan is that
the base of their neck.
Yeah, so it's not okay because this is another thing. They show one with the head blown completely off. That apparently doesn't do it, even though that is getting the base of the neck. But I guess maybe the little tiny bit of spine at the top, just below the head, there's part of the neck, didn't get blown off. So apparently the only way to kill a Titan, they can regenerate if you shoot them anywhere else, is if you cut the back of the neck. Just above, like the very bottom of the neck, just above the shoulders, I guess. So yeah, that is where they have to.
It's an exhaust port, 3 meters wide.
Exactly, it's exactly what it is. And so yeah, he goes for that spot, and he doesn't hit it. He hits it, but it doesn't kill it. Like he must have just been slightly off or something because it doesn't kill it. But this is in this section. He hits it and then it just disappears. Like literally, it's gone. There are 2 feet, like craters where it was standing that Aaron can see, but all of a sudden, like the whole thing is gone. Even though he was about to attack, or did I couldn't tell. Did he actually hit it, or did he?
I think he says he hit it, but maybe we don't. Maybe we don't know for sure.
Exactly. So, well, like I said, that's why I was like, this has to be. It just disappears. There's no way a cloud of steam and it disappears unless you see it like running away in the distance, like yeah, slightly going around the other side of the wall, like sneaking. But yeah, like it just disappears, and Aaron's like, "What the hell? How did I miss?" But it did kick a hole in the wall. So, of course, they're evacuating, and didn't it like collapse the wall a little bit, so it's kind of blocked? It's not as open as it was before.
Yeah, no, it's not as big of a hole because there's kind of some debris in the way.
Yeah, they say there's like a giant rock that kind of fell in the way that it could plug the hole, but they can't move it. So, but it's close enough that it's kind of like still obstructing the hole itself. So then these new recruits are right, and this. You know what? This is not. I'm sorry. This was not the second wall. This is the little jut out. Right. This is the town of the volunteers. So these people are in this little, tiny town that's just a jut out of the wall. So they didn't break through yet to the actual second wall. It's the secondary second wall.
It's the bait town.
It's the bait town. There you go. I don't want to say the joke.
The baiting town.
Yeah. The Vanguard town. So the kids are called into service immediately. They have not been selected yet, but they're just, all of them are going to be, I guess, surveyors now or garrison now because they're protecting the inner city. So we get like they all get put in different parts of the guard. So we get the Vanguard, who's like the guys who are going to have to fight first. Then there's the middle guard, who is kind of protecting the inner town. Then there's the rear guard. So the rear guard is kind of like the elite because they are the last stitch effort to make sure that no one gets through. None of these Titans get through. So Misaka is put on that, where Evan is put in the front guard, right?
I think he's in the middle, right?
I don't remember. He's either in the middle, but he doesn't. Either way, he doesn't take those orders.
Yeah.
He immediately just like, fuck it, I'm just going to attack, right away anyway. So we get a lot of these people dying as they go out. A lot of the kids that we were introduced to, we see them getting murdered, like initially, because a lot of them are in the Vanguard. Oh yeah, and we also get a cutaway to them, this is where I was saying they didn't need to explain any of that shit with the belt and harness on that explicitly explanation page, because they cut to a classroom scene where they break down how to kill the Titans, like where the teacher is explaining how to kill the Titans, how the belts work. So we get the breakdown by a teacher. I'd say the only thing we didn't know was how their swords are made, but you could kind of tell based on what they look like. They don't look like sharp, like, you know, medieval swords or whatever, like double-sided. They look like those breakaway razor blades, those ones that you get. They have like slashes in them, and the long razor blades, and you can, like, with the tip breaks, you can just break off the next piece or whatever, and then it's sharp again. It looks like that. I don't know if that's actually what they're for, but they are sharp enough to cut through these Titans, these muscles and whatever. They don't really explain if the Titans are muscular or if it's something different, like some different material, but
I mean, we can assume that from their
the way they look or whatever. So we get all these people, all the kids that we've been introduced to that were like, obviously we got introduced so that we will know them when they die, and they just run towards, along with Aaron, he's like we said, he was supposed to be Midgard, but he's running at the Titans who are coming through the wall. So I guess it's kind of like the vanguard is already there fighting, and Aaron's running. He did go to the middle, but he's running forward towards, I guess they're assuming the vanguard has failed because the Titans are entering the middle area. So and this is where we see them, like, running on top of the houses and stuff, and you just see the Titans. I don't know. To me, it seemed pretty easy to dodge these Titans. A lot of the people look like they accidentally fell into the mouths of the Titans.
That's what, like, this one literally, like, it looks like he used his grapple gun and he went too close, and then he was like, "Oops!" and he literally just, like, fell.
Into the mouth of the Titan. Like really? Like maybe the grappling hooks aren't that easy to maneuver or whatever. But I just thought it was funny. It just looked like he just slid straight into the Titan's mouth, and the Titan's like, oh, like a duck or something, like, just without chewing or anything, just swallowed him up. And they're like, they put a lot in this where, like, Aaron's like, "Oh my God, Thomas," and Thomas is like, and then he gets eaten, and then Aaron yells, "Thomas!" And I was like, who's fuck is Thomas? But I think
we learned all these people's name on, like, 2 pages, and then they all were like, "I'm going to be the best. No, I'm going to go to this group." And then now they're all going to die.
Yeah. And then we get, okay. So I will say there are some pages that look masterfully drawn. Like, most of the time, this is a pretty well drawn book. This specific Titan looks like Sid from Toy Story drew him.
It does. He looks like that, or he looks like a Mardi Gras parade float.
Yes, that's exactly, like, he's got a big head, on top of a little body, and like
not like it's a Titan-sized body, right? Like, it's as big as a building,
but his head is like a giant pumpkin mask.
But yeah, it's really weirdly proportioned.
Yeah, it's weird. So I thought this one was, like, super. I don't know. I was like, all the other ones look cool or whatever, but this one had, like, a very odd look, and he's taking him on. He grabs it. Like I said, everybody seems to just be, like, swinging into their hands, into their grip. You know, it's like, it's very weird how they do. But this guy tears them up. He's biting the heads off, and he's tearing apart, you know, people that were, like, a couple. You could say, oh, these are, like, they're in a relationship, and it's like, no, like, you know, they're biting each other's heads, or it's biting one of them's heads off, it's tearing the other one apart. And Armin is watching all of this, and I guess he was friends with them. He's like, no, not those people. My comrades are being eaten. And apparently he just stands there and looks at it. Because, like, the Titan that tore his friends apart and then ate one of them alive goes over to him and just picks him up.
Yeah, I don't know if he's just, like, so shocked that he's not fighting back or what.
Yeah, I mean, it is Armin. He didn't have any skill pretty much, so it's just like he's terrified. He doesn't know what to do. So he gets eaten. And once again, there's no chewing involved with him. He just goes down the gullet nice and easy. And as he's sliding down, we get, like, a little flashback that shows how Aaron and Armin are, like, best buds. And they said, like, if you're, like, I want to go wherever you go, Aaron, and you'll protect me and I'll protect you, like, best friends forever. So that just sets up this. That was literally 1-page cut and cut back to Armin sliding down this throat.
Remember how we're always going to be best friends?
Yeah. And then we cut to Aaron somehow being in the giant's mouth and is pulling Armin, you know, by the hand and arm out of the mouth. And apparently this fucking thing isn't chewing or anything. It's just, huh? Like, with one guy is able to just jump into the mouth.
Yeah, and maybe he's holding open the jar. Or
How?
Whatever.
How's he? I mean, this thing's gigantic. It doesn't look like it. It looks like his hand and foot are on the teeth, the bottom and the top teeth, but it doesn't look like he can open it. Like, you know, I don't know, whatever. So either way, he's able to throw Armin out with one arm, and then Aaron is in the giant's teeth, and Armin turns around and is like, Aaron, and then you see him reach out his free hand, and then apparently the Colossal Titan, or sorry, this is the regular Titan. The Mardi Gras looking Titan. Oh no, this is a different Titan.
Yeah, this is a bearded Titan.
Oh my god. Okay, so we get Grizzly Adams Titan apparently came in. That's okay. Maybe that's why. Maybe Armin was focusing on the Mardi Gras Titan,
and then the bearded,
and then Grizzly Adams Titan came up behind him and just picked him up with like, ooh, and just like put him in his mouth and slid down, swallowed. But yeah, so Grizzly Adams Titan has his mouth being closed down on top of Aaron's arm, bites off Aaron's arm, and then gulps him down. So Aaron is swallowed, and then Armin's like, no. And then Misaka, who's in the back by the rear guard, she's looking out, and you know she isn't gonna wait with these guys. You know, she's looking like she sees the demolition happening in the middle guard section, and she knows Aaron's there, so she, like true to her form, is gonna go there and protect him.
Yeah.
So
so she thinks.
So well,
I'm kidding.
And then it just says continue to volume 2. So
you have to tell me if Aaron surprises. I was like, how are they going to kill like one of the main characters in the first book?
Right. So I thought that too. I was like, wow, I didn't see that coming. So I'll just spoil volume 2. So the volume 2 is pretty much all this whole fight.
Oh, okay.
And her and the rear guard are able to move forward. I guess she like assembles them like, we all got to do it. And they start trying to pick up, or maybe it's like a couple of the rear guard, the team, like the kids she graduated with, decide to like go off on their own to help out the middle guard. And then they pick up anybody they can on the way there that's still alive. And then all of a sudden, like one of the Titans, like it looks like they're just going to die. They all run out of gas. That was the other thing. Maybe that's why they had to say how their fucking belts worked. I could have figured that out though, but whatever. But they have like compressed gas canisters that run these pneumatic fans that run the belts. And so if they run out of gas, they run out of belts, so they can't swing around like Spider-Man. Basically, Spider-Man runs out of fluid, you know, for his
it makes sense.
His web shooters. And so there's apparently like a building that is the gas building that like they fill up these canisters, and they're supposed to go out and they're like the ammo people basically. Like they are supposed to go refill the canisters for these people. So they go to that building, and all the people that were in there are still in there, but they're just like, we're too scared to leave. Like, but we got all this gas ready to go, you know, that no one can use it. And so, and then all the Titans are, of course, swarming there. And so all of a sudden, and this is weird because it wasn't the bearded Titan, but all of a sudden, a Titan just starts fighting like the other Titans out of nowhere.
Oh.
And like saves Armin. Armin was about to die again. I think it says Armin or Misaka. One of them. It saves one of them. I want to say Misaka also gets wounded badly. Like almost like, oh, is she going to die too? Something like that. Like Armin is the one left alive. And he ends up being like the main character, you think, until the end when they reveal that the Titan that's killing everybody, or all the other Titans, is actually Aaron inside of one of the Titans, and somehow he is driving that one.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So
they don't show how it works. They just show him, like the last shot is kind of like this, where it leaves it on the cliffhanger of, like, they're like, why is that Titan fighting for us? He killed them all. And then he's like, he like walks over to them in the building. And they think he's going to attack them because they're like, why is this Titan? And I mean, you could have guessed what was going to happen.
Yeah.
But like Aaron then just comes out of the mouth or whatever.
But the fact that it's not the bearded one is weird. Yeah.
Yeah. At least from what I remember, I did not. That was the only, I think it would have given it away, right? If it's the bearded one. But maybe it was the bearded one with his face burnt, like his hair burned off or something. I don't fucking know.
Was Aaron?
Maybe he shaved himself.
Was Aaron missing an arm?
Yes.
Okay. Interesting.
Yes. Was he? Hold on.
Because he had his arm.
I know. I'm thinking maybe he had like a mechanical arm or something.
That he was able to make in that time frame. Interesting.
You know what that also makes me think? Maybe the reason why they shoehorned that dad with the serum scene is maybe he can grow back.
He can grow back metal limb or other.
Or I don't remember if it was metal, but like I feel like he didn't. He had his arm. I don't know. I don't remember because, like I said, I was just trying to read that to see if it gets better, and I felt like it did not. So
y'all can let us know in the comments here.
Yeah.
The story from here on.
Yeah.
Is it really that, like, is this something you want us to continue to read? Are we missing?
Yeah. Is this a surface level thing? That's what I want to know. Is this as surface level as it seems, or does it get into some giant government state conspiracy?
Or just any extra level?
Or anything. Yeah. Because as of right now, the way I feel about it is monsters are cool. They did a lot of weird story things in this that didn't make sense to me. Like just putting a page of how these fans work or how there's a lot of exposition pages that weren't in, it's not even trying to pretend their story. It's just, hey reader, here's a page of how this works, like with a model and the harness and everything, which I did not like. It took me out of the story. I was like, okay, you could have done this, and they in fact did do it in the story 2 pages later.
Yeah.
So I was like, I don't know why we had that page, and then a lot of the cutting between time. Only later did you find out it was 5 years earlier, that scene where the Titan attacks with the.
Yeah. So what kind of?
No, I should say we don't know where the time. It wasn't 5 years. We don't know the time frame. Was it the same day? Before that, they had the Titan attacking on the first page. The second page is Titan's not attacking. The kids are still young. Is it the first day? Is it the second day? Is it a month earlier? What how?
Well, I think the chapter was that day, but it still was like you don't know what time. Yeah,
they don't say. So
they don't put any time frames on
right.
that. Yeah. So I don't know. What? Okay, so now we kind of break down like as far as we like it or not, and it's like Matt was saying, the art in it's really nice, and I would say for most of it, yeah, exactly. Like it is what I've come to expect. Like most manga art is pretty darn good. Like in general,
especially if it's popular. Like if it's made it all the way over here, you're gonna have pretty damn good art. I will say they spent a lot of the detail on the Titans for the most part, except the last one. But like the Colossal Titan, I will say, because he's the one that's got the most musculature and. Oh, well, you know what? A lot of the small Titans had skin.
Yeah, you could it looked like their face was like pulled kind of to muscly area tight around the face, like you said, because
they have a Joker smile. Yeah,
but yeah, they did. A lot of them did have skin, no genitalia, just to be specific.
Yeah, no big ass, no dongs hanging out. You know, and it seemed like all of them were men too. Extra. And they make a point to say all of them are men.
Or did they? I thought 1 or 2 of them were female.
None of them had boobies or outjets of boobies.
Okay, I mean, I don't know.
I believe they say they're all, and maybe it's on the second volume where they say it, but they say all of them are men.
And there was something in the beginning I remember.
Or like male bodies. As I say, they don't have any genitalia, so they're just male looking beasts or whatever.
Yeah, and there was something at the beginning they said like this was the only one of the few things the surveyors know is like they were like 850 or so Titans.
Yes, so 875. Isn't it?
875. It was 800 something.
Because he keeps saying 875.
Yeah.
Like that's Aaron. I was trying to remember why he keeps saying that as we were going through
that must be what it is.
But yeah, that's what I think. There's 875 Titans, I guess, that they've counted or something. I don't fucking know.
Either way, but anyway, so that like the art, it's great. For almost the entire place. Yeah, there's a couple places, but in general, the art is really good. It's keeps you engaged and it's fun. You can tell what's going on in the action and stuff. Nothing like that. The confusing parts that come in is within the writing, and either too much detail or not enough detail of like giving you like, wait a minute, where are we? What time is it? Like what's the time frame here of what's going on? Some of that was missing.
And then they will cut to like flashbacks, like right in the middle of a scene, just to make the next part more poignant. Like we're gonna. Like, they could have just had that scene when Armin and Misaka and him and Aaron saved Armin.
Yeah.
Like, when they were all hanging out, they could have just had, like, we'll be friends forever. If you join, I'll join too. Or, like, you could have just had that then. And then when he saves him from the mouth later, you're like, oh, I remember that conversation. But no. They just saved that section for one page right before.
Right in there.
Yeah. It's kind of like, all right.
So yeah, so it was. I will say that I think of all the manga we've read, because I'm newer to this. And Matt had read a little bit more than I had. The first manga I read was for our podcast, and
really,
yeah,
ever? Oh wow, okay,
yeah, I think ever. I mean, I might have seen like pages here and there. Like I don't think I actually sat down and read one.
Okay,
I think it was the whole like, why am I reading from the opposite way? It's weird.
They're reading backwards.
Yeah, no, I don't know.
The weird thing is when you read a bunch of manga and then you try to read an American comic, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
So, I think so far this is the first one that I was like, I don't know. I don't really know if
we read Fire Punch, sir.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like Fire Punch, I was still kind of like, this is really weird and like a lot of like gross and like not risque, just literally like disgusting stuff. But at least I was like, I kind of want to know what happens.
Okay.
With this one, I was like, I don't know. Like it just isn't.
Give or take.
Yeah, I'm not really like.
Yeah, and we'll go based on this first volume because I really feel, and this is something.
Well, you even telling me what happens in the next one. I'm a little.
Well, that's why I think maybe the third one is like where it's nailed, and that would make sense because that's the first Titan or Colossal volume is the first three. So it's like, okay, that would catch you if it's this story, and then the third one really brings it home and gets you with that narrative. So,
so you have to let us know if we're on the we're in the minority here.
If that's the case, then maybe we will read that third one and just see where it goes. But anyway, so continue.
Yeah, so overall, I think I would give this one a 5. I think this is like middle of the road for me right now, at least for an opening one. Like I was engaged and I was like, oh, okay, where's this going? And then like, it just kind of it fell flat for me. It didn't really move me forward. It wasn't one. I would say majority of the stuff we've read, like, oh, I still want to know what happens next, even if I don't love it. And this
how many dogs is that guy going to make that kid fuck?
Yeah, Chainsaw Man was so fucking weird too. And I still was at the end. I was like, well, what happens though?
What is? Yeah, I mean, I think that's a lot of the charm of those books is that it's so out there weird, that you're just like, what the fuck is going to happen next?
How can it get crazy?
Yeah, exactly. Which, I mean, that doesn't do much for me, but I get it why other people would want that. This one, like you said, I was like, I don't really understand why people love this so much. Unless it does become that, like, they just continue because I could see you reading, because this leaves in like a big cliffhanger where Misaka's like, what now? Like, and she sees the dust in the middle ground. So you're like, oh, she's got to save Eren. And then, so I can see why you'd read volume 2 because you want to find out what happens to Eren. And then they leave it with what? Eren was the Titan? How does that make sense? So I could see why you go to 3. And if 3 is the hook, like this is what's happening, this is the big reveal that's going to make you want to continue forever, I will get that. But just based on this one, if I picked this one up at my store and was like, everybody's talking about this, let me read this first volume Takuban, I would probably have been like, nah, I'm good.
I think that's you're getting at the heart of it, is that like, so like even picking up a comic, and I'm gonna agree that, American comics and manga, there's a little bit difference in storytelling.
Yeah, American comics tend to try to get you right at the beginning. Yeah. In that first volume, you better catch someone.
Yeah, and even in whether sometimes if it's a first issue, they'll try to do it.
Well, that's what I'm saying, because American comics, the trades are just collections of 5 to 6 22-page stories. Yeah. So of issues. So if they're doing an overarching story, that first fucking issue better catch you.
Yeah.
Because if not, you're not buying the next 4 issues or 5 issues. And it'll still get collected, and then maybe it'll be better read that way. But generally, and this was kind of more of an older style of thing, like maybe 10 years older, 10 years and before, every first issue of a comic had to be a banger because it's supposed to grab you and make you want to read the rest of the issues. Whereas this, I think it's coming out in those like big Shoujin Jump phone books or whatever, and so it is issue form, but there's 55 pages, and they leave them on big cliffhangers. But there's a lot of stuff that just is clunky to me sometimes. Like there's just story stuff, and it doesn't quite catch me the same way as like an American comic does. And I don't know if that's just cultural storytelling styles or because I mean, honestly, almost every manga I've read is like that. I'd say Junji Ito's stuff is different than that.
But that's a horror element, I think, too. You're kind of already expecting,
right?
Like that, like like pretty
right.
almost
come out,
much every one.
I think they come out in graphic novel form too, not like in collection form. Not in. I think I could be wrong on that, but if not, then he does a really good job of being like, this is what the fuck is going on, you know? And then the same thing, like I've read Vinland Saga. I thought that was pretty good, but that has like a grounding in history. So it's kind of like you have a little bit of knowledge of what's supposed to happen or what's going to happen that might hook you more than your average manga. So, but with Berserk, I had similar where I was like, I don't know if I would read this if it was just the first tankobon, like if I would continue reading it, because the first tankobon is just like, he's just this dickhead that's going around murdering demons. It's like, all right. And then you find out later why he's such a dickhead and why he's got all this anger issues and stuff. But because that one was, I read it in the Colossal or the big volume, it kind of like this one, I think is if it's, you read it in the big volume, you're going to have the full story, the full arc that they want you to read kind of thing. So I don't know. I agree with you. I would give this a 5. This has about the same. This felt about as clunky story wise as Hush. Yeah, where like you're like, what is this going on? Yeah. Speaking of Hush, we should do a poll on this. But I was thinking, should we do like a 4-year anniversary?
Yeah, we're coming up on our anniversary. Hush? Do we go? Do we? That's interesting. Like, do we go back and
redo Hush and see if we change our mind now that we've gone through
Hush
it?
Redux.
Yeah, Redux. Because also I know more about Batman. I remember I had an issue with Harold the janitor, and then I found out, he's actually like in Batman during this time period, which I was like, who the fuck is this guy? Like, did he just make him up for this? I was like, oh no, he's like a character. So that was my bad. But anyway, back to Attack on Titan. For this volume, I think 5 is probably the best you're gonna get just for this one volume. And let us know, readers, or listeners,
again, we're not hating on it.
Yeah,
we just didn't get us hooked. Like maybe it got you hooked. So tell us, why did it hook you?
Yeah, and
maybe what happens a little bit. Like, do we need to read the third one? Like, are we missing out on like the crux of this story?
Yeah, is this a surface level thing, or does it get more intriguing or whatever? Like, is there multiple layers to this story? And I felt like that it's the same about the anime. When I watched the first 2 episodes or 3 episodes, I was like, all right. Nothing here really catches me, like it's kind of a basic story. And with that, it didn't even have the stuff I picked up on, like cannons pointing backwards, or like I didn't like in the manga, whatever you put in the manga, if you have a whole panel of the cannons pointing back at the city, it makes me go, oh, they're putting that there for a reason. I'm like reading into that, you know? And then, the idea that, this thing just disappears. What? Like I picked up on a lot more stuff than I did with the anime, if that was in the anime. I don't even remember because it was a long time ago. But I just felt like, I don't need to continue this. Like it seems like a pretty basic story with the anime, and I probably would have felt like that if all that stuff I picked up on in the manga though makes me more intrigued to continue. But but that's why I read volume 2. I just did that because I was like, maybe it continues and gets way cooler with this government stuff. But they just basically finished this fight, and so that was all of volume 2. Which maybe some people want that, and that's cool. Like I get that too. I read Dragon Ball Z and shit. That's awesome. Yeah. But like,
come on, that Frieza fight was how many episodes?
Right. But the problem is, I've read Dragon Ball and Fist of North Star and all that, and if you just have surface level shit like that, it doesn't like you could do that with those because they're old. Those are from the 80s. In 2020 or 2015, whenever this came out, I need like something more. So hopefully there's something more, and maybe we're just missing it because of that. So we both give it 5s. Like we said, this was a Patreon poll winner. We had a tie though. So next week we are going to be reading the tied manga book, Battle Angel Alita Volume 1. And speaking of our Patreon polls, we should thank our Patreon supporters because we love you guys. We thank you very much. Thank you to Hoku, Otaku Mike. I almost said Hotaku Mike.
Hotaku Mike. Combining them together now.
Yeah, Hoku, Otaku Mike, and Ed H, our patrons, and we thank you very, very much. You are the reason why we are able to continue doing this, and we love your guys' feedback. And we hope you guys enjoy this as much as well.
Yeah. So. Yeah. And so again, if you want to be part of choosing what we read, you want to have a voice on our show, let us know. Join our Patreon at patreon.com/planes, trains, and comic books. We're going to have a new poll for this month coming up, and I think this month we're going to do characters again.
Yes.
Some characters that we've never done on the, at least their specific own runs. Arcs for the show. So be on the lookout for that. This should be dropping here in the next couple days.
Yeah, and then next month is October, and that's generally we do extra shit for October.
We do a little big around here, and if you go back and check out, we've done
I've been getting books ready, so
nice.
Yeah,
I'm excited. One of yours, you definitely go back if you haven't listened to them. You're new to the channel. The 13 Comics of Halloween. We literally did 13 individual lead up to Halloween.
Jesus Christ,
that was a long one.
We didn't do the math that if you do if you have 13 issues a month, that's 13 extra podcasts. That's basically one every other day.
Yeah.
And that's a lot. That was a lot of those podcasts.
Yeah, we probably won't do that again. But
yeah, we will not do that. Not probably, John. We will not do that again.
We'll see about that. Anyway, but we appreciate y'all listening. If you want to leave us any comments,
like, share, and subscribe. If you guys have any emails you wanna comment or give us some recommendations or whatever, you can always comment on our Patreon page. But also you can email us at planes, trains, and comic books, all one word, at gmail.com.
And we've got all our social medias out there: Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, for exclusive content as well, and our TikTok. So definitely check us out. Let us know. And I guess with that,
we'll see you on the next one, but also let us know if this gets better. So.
Oh, yes. Let us know, please.
So with that, we'll see you.
Bye.
Bye.